welcome to Babble About Books. My name is Tavia and this is going to be my December TBR. I have found on YouTube TBR Games, which I love the idea and concept, so I thought I would give it a try. So I created my own board game called Spiraling Out of Books. This is what my board game looks like. You start with 1 and you circle all the way around to the middle. It's a spiral, spiraling out of books. And the point is to get through all the books I own that I have never read because I have a book buying problem. And so this game is going to force me to read the books I own, and I can't buy any more books until I hit the 70th spot, which is a book haul. So that's exciting. So that is my game called Spiraling Out of Books. The people who I watched that really, the first 2 people I watched that had these was Becca in the Books, her Bookopoly, and then Cody's Book Corner with her Wheel of TBR, and then I just spiraled and watched so many of them. So those are the 2 that I first saw, but it's been around forever. I think Becca in the Books was the first one to do it. I could be wrong. So how the game works is I'm going to roll a 12-sided die. There are 12 genres. I kind of mashed a couple and kind of worked it in with what I already owned. So we've got 12 categories. Sorry, I feel like I don't have notes. So the first one is middle grade. The second one is adult fantasy. 3 is YA fantasy. 4 is fiction. 5 is horror. 6 is romance. 7 is nonfiction, 8 is historical fiction, 9 is graphic novels, 10 is classics, and 11 is mystery and thrillers, and 12 is others. So I've got a couple plays, musicals, poetry, anthologies, stuff like that. Poetry, I don't know if I said that, but so that's kind of all in that other category to like make sure I can read them and, you know, didn't fit in any other category that I had. And like adult fantasy is going to have like sci-fi in it. Just kind of mashed them a little bit. And so how it's going to work is I'm going to roll the die 4 times, and those are the 4 books I have to read each month. And what happens if I don't read those books each month is I don't get to move those spaces. So if I roll a 7 for nonfiction and I don't read that nonfiction in that month, then I do not get to move those 7 spaces, taking it longer to get to the book haul. So I can't buy books. And also, on top of not being able to move those spaces, I am going to have to pull out of a penalty jar, which is just going to have a couple different random penalties that I'm going to have to do. I'm also not going to count DNFs as towards any penalties just because I'm not going to force myself to read a book that I do not like. I'm going to try and get at least halfway through before I DNF it, so then I kind of have more of a formed thought on it, but we'll go with each book because I don't know how much of a fan I'm going to be of all these genres because, like I said in my first video, which I'll link down below, is I am just trying to explore as many genres as possible, so if something doesn't suit my fancy, then I'm not going to force myself to read it. Also, how I am going to decide each book I read for the genre, I've got a little jar here. I'm going to toss the books that I own. I wrote them on pieces of paper. I'm going to toss them in here, and I'm going to pull out random. So it truly is, I have no idea what book I'm going to be reading each month, even though I know the genres already. This little bowl, fishbowl, is going to decide which books I will be reading. Okay, so I rolled a 3. So that is going to be YA fantasy. Okay, so for the first roll, I rolled a 3, which is YA fantasy. I got all my YA fantasies in here, and let's see which one I will be reading in December. We've got Children of Blood and Bone. So that will be my YA fantasy this month. Pulled Children of Blood and Bone from Tommy Adeyemi. I'm excited to read it. I really don't know what it's about. All I know is it has some sisters, some magic, there's tribes involved. So this is going to be my first read for YA fantasy. That's a 7. That is going to be a nonfiction. Okay, the second roll was 7, which is a nonfiction. I've got my nonfictions in here, and I'm going to pull them out and see which one I will be reading in December. Okay, Life on a Medieval Barony. I have no idea where I got this book, but it was, it's right here. It's no idea what it's about. And then for nonfiction, I got Life on a Medieval Barony by William Stearns Davis. I don't know what it's about. I don't know where I got it from, honestly. It's a really cool old edition. I don't know if this is going to focus. I don't really know where it came from. But yeah, so that is what I'm going to be reading for nonfiction in December. That is a 6. Which is a romance. Okay, for the third roll, I got romance, which was a 6. So I've got my romances in here, and let's see which one I will be reading this month. Naomi's and Eli's No Kiss List is what I will be reading in December for my romance pick. Naomi and Eli's No Kiss List, which I've got right here, and that's what I'll be reading for romance. I don't know. I watched the movie, so I kind of know what it's about. It's people you're not supposed to be with. It's romance. Pretty sure there's some upset in there, so that's what I'll be reading for romance. And then we've got a 5. Which is a horror. And lastly, roll number 4 was horror, which was a 5. So I've got my horror books in here, and let's see which one I will be reading in December. Ooh, we've got Survive the Night. I got Survive the Night by Danielle Vega, which I don't currently own. It is being shipped to me right now because I did a really big book haul before I started this TBR game because I knew I wasn't going to be able to buy books for a while, and I have a shopping issue with books. So I'll put the cover up here if editing me and my mom can do that. But if not, then you'll see it in one of my videos, either my wrap-up or a vlog or whatever I do this month that I can showcase that beautiful cover. So those are the books I will be reading for my TBR game. I'll be participating in JD Reed's mini Polarathon from the 4th to the 6th, which is the first weekend in December. She wants you to read Polarathon, but I sadly don't own any. She said any cozy read would work though, and it's just a cabin away about self-care and, you know, just enjoying the time. So for that, I'm going to do my first reread of one of my favorite books of all time, is These Shallow Graves. I read it a couple years back. I loved it, and I really want to get back into it. It's been long enough there. Some of the details are a little fuzzy because it is a, you know, YA mystery thriller, I believe. It's a really good book. It's about this girl who has to solve them, and it's just crazy and great. So I will also be trying to fit this in to my reading this month as well. Let's see how that goes because I typically read half a book a month. So hopefully I'll also be able to fit this on to my TBR this month. But those are the books I will be reading. Like this video, like and subscribe, and I will see you next Wednesday. Bye!